Once upon a time, in a small town surrounded by meadows and winding cobblestone streets, there lived a curious little kitten named Whiskers. She had soft grey fur, bright blue eyes, and a mischievous streak that made her beloved by everyone who met her. Every day, Whiskers would spend hours playing with her favourite toy, a bright red ball that she'd bat and chase around the floor. But her favourite place in the entire world was the garden behind her house, with its tall sunflowers and bushes laden with ripe berries. It was the perfect place for a kitten to explore. One day, while chasing a butterfly, she wandered further than usual and soon found herself at the edge of a tall hedge. Peeking through the leaves, she saw an open field stretching as far as she could see, and there, fluttering in the breeze, was the most beautiful butterfly she'd ever seen. Its wings were a kaleidoscope of colours, and it seemed to beckon her with each graceful flutter. Determined to catch this beautiful creature, Whiskers slipped through a hole in the hedge and into the field. She raced after the butterfly, weaving in and out of the tall grasses, her little pink tongue lolling out the side of her mouth. She chased it over hills and through dales, her heart pounding with excitement. All around her, the world was alive with the buzz of insects and the sweet scent of wildflowers. The sun warmed her soft fur as she ran, and she felt a surge of happiness, knowing that she was free to roam in this vast and beautiful place. But as the minutes turned into hours, Whiskers began to feel a twinge of unease. She hadn't realized just how far she'd strayed from home, and now she couldn't see the familiar red door that led to her yard. The butterfly, sensing her distress, fluttered to a nearby tree and chirped softly, as if to say, "Don't worry, little one, you'll be home soon." Then suddenly, dark clouds gathered overhead, and the sky grew dark as night. The air grew heavy and still, and Whiskers felt a chill run down her spine. In the distance, she heard a rumble of thunder, and then another, closer this time. The first fat raindrops began to fall, and Whiskers flattened her ears and pressed herself against the tree. Whooshed, the wind swirled around her, and then it hit her. This wasn't just a summer shower. It was a full-blown rainstorm. The sky cracked open, and the rain poured down in torrents. Soon, Whiskers was soaked to the bone. She ran as fast as she could, her little paws splashing in the mud. But the rain was relentless, and she couldn't outrun it. The world became a blur of water and wind, and Whiskers huddled under a bush, shivering and scared. The rain lashed down on her, cold and unforgiving. She closed her eyes tight, wishing she was safe at home in her cozy bed. The storm raged on, and Whiskers felt more and more miserable by the minute. She missed the warmth of her human, Lily's, soft blankets, and the comforting sound of her voice. As the minutes dragged on, she felt a single tear trickle down her cheek. Oh, how she wished she could go home. Just when she thought it couldn't get any worse, a strong gust of wind tore the bush's branches and leaves apart, making a loud cracking noise. Whiskers jumped in fright, her heart pounding in her chest. She peeked out from under the bush and saw that the wind had blown away the only shelter she had. Now she was exposed to the full force of the storm. Whimpering, she curled up into a tight ball, trying to protect her small body with her tail. She wished for the storm to end, for the sun to come out, and for her human, Lily, to hold her close. As the hours passed, the storm slowly began to die down. The rain eased to a drizzle, and the wind no longer carried the threat of ripping apart the bush's branches. But as the clouds parted and a sliver of sunlight broke through, Whiskers realized that she was still wet, cold, and very, very hungry. With a deep breath, she pushed herself off the ground and started to walk, hoping to find her way home. As she walked, she noticed a flash of movement in front of her. A small bird with a reddish breast hopped closer. "Can I help you?" he asked, tilting his head to the side. Whiskers hesitated. not sure if she should trust him. After all, she'd heard stories about sly foxes and cunning cats who preyed on unsuspecting animals. But something about the bird's kind eyes made her feel safe. So she whispered, "I'm lost. I can't find my way home." The bird cocked his head and chirped, "Why don't you follow me? I know every corner of this town and I'm sure I can help you." With nothing to lose, Whiskers followed the bird through a maze of narrow paths and over babbling brooks. All around them, the trees swayed gently in the breeze, and the air was filled with the sound of birdsong. After what felt like hours, Whiskers began to lose hope. She was exhausted and still hadn't seen a house or a friendly face. Just as she was about to give up, the bird suddenly veered off the path and landed on a low branch. "This is it," he chirped, puffing out his chest. "Welcome to my home." To her surprise, Whiskers saw a small cottage nestled in a clearing not far away. Smoke rose from its chimney, and she could hear the faint sound of laughter coming from inside. As she got closer, she realized that the cottage looked exactly like Lily's. Her heart leaped with joy. Could this be her home? As she approached, the door opened and out stepped Lily. "Whiskers!" she cried, rushing toward her. She scooped Whiskers into her arms, holding her tight. "Oh, my little one, I was so worried about you." Whiskers purred loudly, nuzzling against Lily's cheek. She was so happy to be home. Then she remembered the bird who had helped her. She looked around, but he was nowhere to be seen. "Thank you," she whispered to the wind, hoping he could hear her. As Lily carried Whiskers inside, she wrapped her in a warm blanket and placed her on top of her bed. "You must be exhausted," she said, stroking Whiskers' soft fur. "Just rest here for now. I'll bring you some food soon." And true to her word, Lily returned with a bowl of milk and a plate of fish. Whiskers ate everything in sight. She was so grateful to be home and to have such a loving human who cared for her. As she snuggled into her bed, she thought about the kind bird who had helped her. She knew that if she hadn't been so curious and adventurous, she might never have gotten lost in the first place. And as she drifted off to sleep, she dreamed of meadows, butterflies, and helpful birds. The next morning, Whiskers woke up feeling pampered and loved. She licked her paws and gazed out the window at the bright blue sky. She knew that the rain would come again someday, but she also knew that she would always find her way home. And she knew too that the world was full of kindness and adventure. And so, with a newfound appreciation for her life, Whiskers spent her days playing with her red ball and exploring the garden, always keeping an eye out for butterflies and friendly birds. For Whiskers, the rain was just a part of life, and she knew that no matter what, she was loved, and she was home.